At Spring Hill Lake Elementary in Greenbelt, Maryland,
Araceli, would you like to share?
a class of third graders is living in a real fantasy world.
Like there's a big castle and you can hear birds singing and you can only drive limos.
In actuality, these students are getting a very grounded education in writing thanks to their teacher, Ms. Sturkin.
It was a little scary at first to teach writing because of all the different layers that go into writing. There's mechanics and ideas and purpose and audience and genre. And then on top of that, you want them to be able to express themselves in a really interesting way for their readers. But every single year, I learn something new to help them just keep layering their skill level in writing.
Ms. Sturkin set a solid base for this scaffolding by creating a classroom environment where writing is fully integrated into the day.
When you take a look at elementary schools and the state of writing instruction, there's two things that stand out. One, there's very little writing going on by kids. Second, there's very little instruction in writing going on.
Okay, you can begin.
Ms. Sturkin is determined to make sure her class is an exception. For example, to keep her students writing every day, Ms. Sturkin had each of them create a writer's notebook. In it, they can brainstorm and draft ideas, which they can then share with the class.
The house is red and white. Outside is quiet and peaceful.
The first week of school, we start with their own writer's notebooks. We talk about the kind of space they need as a writer. We talk about the tools. And we also give them a lot of time to share so that they're comfortable sharing their writing. And when it's time for them to go through the revision process, they know that they're able to share in a way that isn't really scary for them. Yes. What are some things you like about Mohammed's details? What did you like, Daira?
It smells like strawberry and flowers.
Yeah, wasn't that a good detail? It really helped us visualize with our five senses what it's like there. Nina, what did you like about Mohammed's?
I like about Mohammed's that he kind of added a little bit part of poetry.
And it's not just the students who take part.
Ms. Sturkin, would you like to share?
Yes, Christian, I'd love to. Thanks.
Writing teachers need to see themselves as writers too.
Teachers of writing must write. You have to be confronting both the satisfactions and the challenges of the writer's task, and then modeling that for your students. Being willing to show them a piece of writing that you had to fix and revise. You can't just be one who assigns and grades.
Shimmering purple trails led me to the journey to his kingdom. I might have to reread that and make it sound a little bit better. With each step I took, purple sparkles swiftly scooted from beneath my feet. Swiftly scooted, that's right. And what is it when I add two words together with the same beginning sound?
Alliteration.
Alliteration, good job.
Besides creating regular writing opportunities for students, this workshopping provides a chance for them to give and receive feedback effectively.
Good job. I think the students cheer for each other because we would cheer for them when they share their own writing. And when we started in the beginning of the year, we would specifically find examples in the students' writing that they should be proud of. And then we would invite the other students and specifically ask them, what are some things you noticed in this person's writing that you really think they did a great job on? And what are some things that maybe you can suggest that would make it even more interesting as a reader?
For Ms. Sturkin's class, these particular entries acted as a pre-writing exercise for their unit on fairy tales.
Okay, let's talk about what we're going to do today. Today we're going to start writing our fairy tales. And before we write our fairy tales, we're going to talk a little bit about what some really good writers do. We had some awesome examples of good writers in the last couple of days.
Ms. Sturkin is referring to her use of mentored texts, which are pieces of writing whose idea, structure, or written craft can be used to inspire students' own writing.
And we're also going to read a story today called Crickwing. And it's not a fairy tale, but the author did something really special in that book that made the story sound exciting when we read it, and it helped us visualize what the characters in the story were doing. So we're going to see what special trick that author used, and we're going to see if we can use that today in our fairy tale writing too.
The ideal way to look at the notion of mentor text is that children, as readers, are noticing what they can use as writers and finding mentor texts that work for them.
So it's not just saying, here's a model text, everyone be Shakespeare, here's the perfect text, imitate it.
Vivid verbs. If something is vivid, it's really easy for us to see. So when we have a vivid verb, it's easy for us to visualize it in our head. And in this story, Janelle Cannon used a lot of vivid verbs. tons of vivid verbs. I don't think she really used a whole lot of plain verbs. All of them are so easy for us to visualize in our head when we read her story. So as we read, if you hear a vivid verb, I'd like you to hold up V. What is V for? Vivid verbs. Far below the great forest canopy lies a shadowy world that many insects call home. Among the damp clutter of fallen leaves and branches, leaf-cutting ants toil all day, while large cockroaches await their evening search for food. What did you hear? Nico, what did you hear?
Toil.
Toil. So if they're toiling, what are they doing?
Working very hard.
Working really hard. Yes, we toil all day. Pow, swoosh! A sharp-eyed monkey clobbered Crickwing and swiped his sculpture. What did we hear?
Swipe.
Swiped. So if he swiped his sculpture, that means he did what?
Took it.
He took it. But it didn't just say he took it. How did he do that?
Swipe this.
What does it look like if he swiped it?
And then take it.
I see everyone moving with their arms very quickly. When you swipe something, she swiped it from me. Go ahead, swipe it. She swiped the word swipe. Do it again so everybody could see. Swipe it. She did it fast. So we know that monkey was moving how? Fast. Why do you think Janelle Cannon decided to use these special vivid verbs instead of plain old verbs?
I think she used vivid words on her story, so it makes the story more interesting.
It sure does. Wasn't the story more interesting when we can visualize the special way the character moved or felt?
Yes.
Yeah. And now at this point, we're such good writers that we want our readers to be interested in the story, just like you were interested in listening to Janelle Cannon's story. So we're going to try and put some vivid verbs in our fairy tales that we write today.
Ms. Sturken follows up the whole class work with more explicit instruction in small groups. This gives Ms. Sturken a chance to assess the students' understanding of vivid verbs, while the students get a chance to practice with the text in a more intimate setting.
I can't do this, Eartha blurted at last. If you blurt something out, what does it sound like? What would it sound like if you said, I can't do this
anymore. Oh, that's exactly why I visualized that.
Perfect. If I say in the classroom, Tyler blurted out the answer, what does it mean?
Shout.
Two. Like that.
What do you think?
He just screams it up.
He just screams it out. So if Eartha blurted out, I can't do this anymore, what did she do?
I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Just talk.
You want me to keep talking? Are you the director now?
Just talk.
Okay. So we're talking about the word blurting. She blurts it like an interruption. Good thinking. So if she had just used the word said in the story, we would not visualize that she interrupted. But since she uses that word blurted, that was a perfect reenactment of the word blurted.
I think that
She
she
interrupted us. I'd like you to read the rest of it by yourself. And I'd like you to find your vivid verbs just like we did together and circle them, or you could put VVs on them. And then I'd like you to find one that you think is a really beautiful example of how that vivid verb helped you make an inference about the character.
Ms. Sturken is giving the students multiple chances to work with this new material and varying her lessons between whole class, small group, and individual instruction.
Did you find the one that you really feel like was a good example of a vivid verb? Waver, do you like that one? Why do you like that one?
Because it's like shadow.
I like
So what does it help you infer about that character?
Thought this one was nervous, maybe he's nervous.
Yeah. Did they have something to be nervous about?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, they do. Such a great way to help us visualize how the characters are feeling without just saying they felt nervous. It doesn't even say the word nervous in there, does it? But because she used those special words, we can make those inferences by herself as a reader.
For Ms. Sturken, success with writing means creating a respectful community of writers.
I make sure I take the time to listen to their concerns and make sure that they feel like when I'm talking to them about their work, that I'm not really criticizing what they're doing, but that I'm there to help them, that we're here to help each other. I learn from their ideas. I could take what they're doing and share it with the rest of the class because they might have an idea that's better than mine. And to do that frequently so they know this is just not like a one-woman show in my classroom. We're all learning together and helping each other.
It doesn't have they lived happily ever after.
Classic fairy tale line, right?
Yep.
Yep, let's see.